Congratulations. So you're at the point in your home buying journey that you're out seeing homes, you're going to open houses, and you're trying to find what that home is that you actually want to make an offer on. A big portion of this is feedback about what you like, what you don't like, and sharing this with your agent, with your family, friends to make sure you make the right decision. But it's important to know that the negotiation has already started, and there are 6 things that I want to make sure you don't let the other side know, the listing agent or seller, to kind of pin yourself in a corner as this negotiation gets started. Let's talk about it. Hey y'all, welcome back. So what we're going to talk about today are 6 things that I think that you need to try and keep as big of a secret from the other side of the transaction as possible when you're looking to buy a home. This has everything to do with negotiation. It has everything to do with the emotions that the seller may be feeling. Really, our goal in all of this is to keep all of the negative emotions out of the seller's mind when they're looking at your offer and setting you up for a chance to succeed in the negotiation side of things. So before we jump in, like we talk about every time, if you all could hit that like button, if you could hit that subscribe button, that would mean the world to me. All right, so number 1, as much as this is an exciting time and as your agent or whoever you decide to work with is gonna be stoked for you, when you're walking through the home and you figure out that you absolutely love it, you cannot let them know like, hey, this is my dream home. As exciting as that is, and as much as I want to hear that, if you let that be told and then the sellers hear that, the listing agent, somebody holding an open house, that is pretty much just the kiss of death to a negotiation. You have now kind of let them know like, this is perfect for us, therefore we're pretty much going to do whatever we need to make this work. That changes the negotiation from really fighting for your best interest to, hey, listing agent, what do we need to do to get this? Okay, cool. We've submitted our best offer. It's everything that you want. Now the negotiation is, hey, if somebody does end up trying to beat that, let us know and we'll beat that. So it kind of takes out all of the negotiation savvy, even up to repairs, out of your agent's hands. And you might get the house still, but it's really going to make the negotiation totally lean over to the seller's point of view. Number 2, before we jump into this one, I think it's important to remember that even though a real estate transaction is a financial transaction and the dollars and cents of the deal should matter the most, we are talking about someone's home. They may have lived there for quite some time. They could have lived there for 6 months. Regardless, they built memories there. They may have put a lot of work into it. They might associate a lot of their life to this home. And so what we're going to talk about next, the next 2 points, have to do with that in particular and the emotional attachment that they have, and how if you bring negative emotions into this, it could sway them to go somewhere else when they're deciding on an offer. So number 2 is walking through the house, looking at everything that you see that's wrong with it. It might be perfect for you, but you'd have to make some adjustments. When I have buyers that are walking through and they're very adamant of, oh, I can't wait to change that. I can't wait to get rid of that wall. I can't wait to get rid of this cool closet desk thing that they built for one of their kids because I need storage space. Let's get out of that. I can't wait to get rid of the garden. Anything like that. What you're saying is, hey, I think that I actually could see some potential here, but we're going to have to make some small changes, which most buyers are going to do. But from the seller's perspective, if they hear this, they might take this as insult and think of that more as, ugh, they're insulting some of this great work that we did, or they're going to see it as, I literally had my granddaughter over and she helped me plant all of those plants in the backyard. It's nothing logical. It has nothing to do with the actual transaction. But if they have those emotions, when it comes down to it, if your offer and another one are together, my job is to make sure that you're the one that actually wins. And when they get there and they say, this one wanted to change everything. This one, they just liked the house the way it was. They can change anything about any house. Let's give it to them. Even if this side might want to do all the same changes, the sellers know you do, and that might sway them just enough in the end. And then number 3, kind of on the same term there, is as you're walking through, you'll see people's furniture, decor, whatever it is, and sometimes I have buyers that just go, ew, oh my God, who picked that out? Who bought this furniture? Have they not bought a new couch in 30 years? We can all think of somebody in our family, homes we've seen, whatever it is, that they just, furniture, the trends aren't kind of what they're worried about. Again, Most people will be thinking this when they're walking through. This kind of underlines the importance of staging, which we'll talk about in a later video, but when you're walking through, remember that the furniture has nothing to do with the home. Most times it's leaving, and if it's not, that's something that you can change so easily. But again, kind of like what we just talked about, this can be something that a seller might take personally. It doesn't mean that they should. I'm not saying that we should really worry everything about how people feel, but at the end of the day, they're making the decision, and if they can connect you in the way that that makes them feel to your offer, it's gonna hurt your chances. All right, number 4. This next piece of information is something that I have buyers ask for all the time. They want to know it, and I agree with them. But I really urge you, ask your agent to do the digging for you with the listing agent, because they can do it much more tactfully and avoid some potentially awkward situations. And that's asking the sellers, why are you selling? Most of the time, this is a completely innocent question. They're just trying to gauge, what are the sellers looking for? Is there something that we can potentially offer that gives us an advantage? Trying to build rapport, whatever it is. But there are times, and it's happened before, and it happens more than you'd like, of people are selling their home because they kind of have to. Whether it's a divorce has happened, a death in the family, potentially they're relocating for a job and they're not too thrilled about it right now. Who knows what emotions are attached to it? Whereas if you ask your agent kind of those questions, we can frame it much more in a negotiation of, hey, why are they selling? Oh crap, they're getting divorced. That's not great, but what can we do to make their lives easier? The listing agent will be able to give that information to the agent on the buy side, much easier than the seller trying to explain to some buyer they don't know, hey, we're getting divorced, we just need to get rid of this house. So as much as it's an innocent question, ask your agent to ask it for you. All right, number 5. So this next one is one that really is always fun to deal with as an agent, but it's a buyer coming to an open house, talking to the seller directly, or asking you as their agent, hey, I will give you insert crazy lowball offer for this house. What do you think? The main issue with this, and again, let's think about this in the frame of you're wanting to buy this home to actually live in and grow a family and do whatever you're going to do, but actually live and enjoy in it. It's not an investment. If it was an investment, much different conversation, and we'll get there in a new video. But by doing a lowball offer, what people typically think is going to happen, they typically think that, oh, well, we'll start there, and then they'll counter, and eventually we'll kind of come to a meeting of the minds. In this market, I will tell you, that just doesn't happen. People only counter, if any, the very top one that they like for some terms. But even in a more balanced market, we don't see people countering offers that come in $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 less because they just get insulted. Again, this is an emotional decision, and a seller might see that and be like, psh, they don't think my house is worth much, therefore they're a waste of my time. Also, there's another party on that side that brings bias into this situation, and that's the listing agent. Listing agents are professionals. They might see that and go, do you all not think that I can list a property? Do you not trust my expertise to appropriately gauge the value of this home? There are homes that are overpriced at times, but it takes some tact to let people know and actually show them evidence. So the reason that I say don't ask this question or don't say this is because a lot of times that counter will never come. They might not even say no. They'll just completely not acknowledge the offer. So what we try and do is you can make a lower offer, but let your agent know, and then figure out a way to say, hey, maybe we'll come in like 10 to 15 grand less. Or maybe there's other things we can ask for to get that counter and still make it work for both parties, but a lowball offer is never the way to go. Last but not least, number 6. This one is huge. Almost on the exact opposite side of the last one is never let the listing agent, the seller, or somebody at the open house know, okay, this home is worth $350. My absolute max though, I love the home, but I can only go to $375. People will do this every once in a while to say like, hey, I'm willing to negotiate, I'm willing to do something extra if it matters. But what they don't realize is by saying I could go to a max of $375, you are now offering $375,000 because the seller knows what they can get out of you. It's the exact same way if we find out on the buy side what a listing agent and a seller are willing to do. If they're willing to take $325 because that's just what they need to make their situation work, guess what? we're now going to be offering $325, and that's the new way to start. So by giving this kind of line and saying, I'm willing to pay this, you might think that it's saying, hey, this is my line and I'm not going to go over, but it also takes, again, the negotiation out. So what we're really trying to do here is on the buy side, you want to keep some mystery so that you can kind of put your agent to work, to be honest, and actually have them use their negotiating power, which is what they should be good at. But even if you're doing the negotiation on your own, we want to make sure that you're in control of some of these things. You have some things to give, you can get some things from the seller, and kind of make it a win-win for everyone. If you show your hand too much, you're not going to make it a win-win. You're going to get the house, which is great, but the seller is going to get everything they want. Or if you insult the seller, it doesn't matter what you offer, you're not getting that house, or you're going to have to drastically overpay for it. So those are 6 things that I highly recommend you don't mention when you're touring a home. All of these things, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your agent, talk to your lender, people on your team, but talk about them outside the house. Make sure they stay on your side of the transaction, and then have them go to battle for you. Agents, what we get paid to do a lot of times is to take these points of feedback that you have and try to turn them into something positive by using that information to get something for you. But yeah, so as you're going out touring homes, don't be super worried about it, but also remember, negotiation starts as soon as you enter that door and gets you all the way to the closing table. So if you all have any thoughts about things that I said that you don't agree with, or other things that I may have missed that you're like, hey, make sure they don't say this, or if you had an experience, shoot me a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And as always, I'm trying to grow this channel so that I can provide some value to people, because I know real estate can be a total overwhelming mess. So hit that subscribe button below, and yeah, next video will be coming soon, and I hope to talk to you. See ya.